we cannot do all these things that have been put in this presentation unless we make them profitable, we make them economically viable. So I think the primary thing we need to be thinking of as Oguta indigenes, and especially because of how spread out and how varied we are, is venture funding. We have to have an Oguta basis for venture funding, where we can say, okay, we take these elements that have been presented in this reimagining Oguta. We already have a venture fund. We move towards venture funding, and we begin to fund them as needed. And in that respect, I would say, if we begin to build venture funding capital from indigenes, however much we can do, and then seek outside help, we have to develop it internally first, and then seek outside help to supplement it. So if we begin to do that, then we can go to building 3G to 4G within Oguta. We can go to using that 3G to 4G to attract investment in Oguta, to attract the tourism that everybody mentioned. We can go to using that venture funding to the particular part of Martin Emery's presentation that I felt was tied to this venture funding is Oguta, I believe he called it Oguta Farm Infrastructure as a Service. Because then if you have a pool of funds by the community where you determine to buy the farm equipment that people can lease and rent to go to their various lands, which Oguta communities have a lot of land to use from their various villages. You do that and you say, this is how much it will cost you to use that, and this is what the returns will be. This begins to create profitable, revenue-generated venture basis for moving forward. I think sustainably, one thing we should always ask ourselves is, when we put our foot forward, how would that be paid for? And would that payment be sustainable? Would that investment be sustainable? When we do that, then we begin to add all these various aspects to it. One last thing before, I know I spoke too long, but one last thing I would like to point out is what Dr. Felix mentioned is a low-hanging fruit that we should never forget. Because all the investment that you're doing now, all the plans that you're doing now will materialize into the dream you're seeing 10, 15 years from now. In 10, 15 years from now, the kids who are 15 years old will be in their 25, 30 years old. So we should be looking at those children who are really not going to school, not having a nursery school to go to, not having early childhood education foundation to go to. Because if a society starts to grow and leave these